Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Sit Downs with Charlie Brown. I'm your host, DJ Charlie Brown, or whatever you like to call me, joined once again by my lovely brother Joe. What's up, Joe?
Hi.
Yes, and if you can't tell, we have a bit of a new setup this time. I actually have a monitor and a computer that I'm actually able to record better on with a little better software. So stay tuned for a little bit more high quality DD shows. So, Joe, if you're on, you know what that means. It's the NHL All-Star break. So I figured you and I can sit down and kind of go over things. You ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. So figured for this, we'll start over in the East, the Atlantic Division, Boston. I swear every year I say it. They were going to be dead. I said they have no chance with Bergeron and Krejci gone. Turns out they proved me wrong, as Pasta is having an MVP season. The Charlie Coyle experiment as number one centerman is working. You know, Swayman and Allmark are holding strong. Like, even for all the success, though, I do kind of still have my doubts, because I feel like the big thing lingering over them is last year's failure. So that's my thing with Boston this year.
Yeah, I mean, they're a lot better than what I thought they would be.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they would miss the playoffs, but I think they're going to make it.
Yeah, it seems like it's a given at this point, because they're destroying the Atlantic once again. So Florida. Number 2 in the Atlantic is Florida. Honestly, I kind of expected this, because, you know, after last year coming up short in the finals, like, I figured it was not a question of if, but when they got back. And so far they are, because Kachuk is continuing his streak. You know, he has guys like Reinhart, Verhage, Barkov, OEL, Rodriguez. My main issue, though, is in their goaltending, just because it's mostly been the Spencer Knight show, because Sergei Bobrovsky's been kind of middle of the pack this year, but if he can turn it on come playoff time, it's hard to bet against them to go to another Stanley Cup, which I know sounds a bit odd.
Yeah. But maybe they can do something in the playoffs, but, I mean, we'll see. They might regress a little bit in the playoffs to the last year.
Yeah, that is true. The Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, they had a bit of a rough start, but I figured they were bound to get back, you know, and it wasn't even a talent issue, because they had guys like Kucherov, Point, and even Stamkos, who's still got some juice left. The main issue for them was just in goaltending, because Vasilevsky was just dealing with injuries, but, you know, they're getting back now, and I think realistically, the big question for them is, how much more do you have with this core? Because Stamkos, I think, is on his last legs, but, you know, the others, the question is where you go for here.
Yeah, I think this is kind of like their last shot with it, because everyone's getting old, and then Stamkos' contract is up.
So. Yeah, and he might retire, honestly, because what is he in his, like, late 30s?
Well, I'm not retired yet.
Yeah, I mean, like, he might just do, like one last go-around, but I don't know. So, yeah, I don't think it's in Tampa. So, Toronto, this is honestly the box standard season for the Leafs. You know, you got Matthews, you got Nylander, you got Marner. You know, you have some good depth pieces like Bertuzzi, Robertson, Yarncroke, and even Matthew Knives, who I've always had a good eye on. Even more shocking is that I think they found their goalie answer in Joseph Woll. He's been actually real. I looked up his stats earlier. Like, he was doing pretty solid for a good bit. So,
yeah. But I feel like they have to move on further than last year. Like, they got to the second round, but they really got swept. So did they really make it?
Yeah. Like, that's the thing. If they, like, here's the thing. I feel like if they go one and done again this year, I expect that core to get blown up, because I feel like you can't, you know, with all the years you went losing in Game 7s to Boston and all that happened, like, it's clear you can't win with this team. So,
yeah,
it's a pivotal year. So, now Detroit. Honestly, it's kind of, they've been mixed this year, which has been sort of the calling card of the Yzer plan, as people have called it. You know, I think they've had some great players, you know, DeBrincat, Sider, Raymond, you know, Sprong, Kompner, and they signed Patrick Kane, but, you know, I just think, like, I can't be sold on them yet, just because like there's a piece missing. I don't really know what it is. I don't really know how to describe it.
I just feel like it's a make or break year for Steve Eisenman.
Yeah.
Because at some point you got to start asking yourself, okay, is this actually working?
Mhm.
And I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like I think they could probably squeak into the playoffs, but I don't know where it falls at this point. So, yeah. Buffalo. Man, I really gotta stop jinxing these guys. Like, and it's like they've been better recently, but like it's just, you got, like even you have Tage Thompson, Skinner, Petreka, Middlestat, even Tuck. Like the issue is just I think been in like defense and goaltending this year. It's not been good, and I don't know how to fix it because you were hoping Devin Levi'd be the answer, having some growing pains. UPL has been borderline line of a roulette wheel. Like I don't know how you fix. I don't know what I know. Like obviously the Sabres are still kind of rebuilding, but I feel like there's got to be a point when they got to start performing.
Well, I feel like, and this isn't in Buffalo, this is just the Atlantic in whole. I feel like you have 4 teams at the top that are really good, all playoff teams, and then you have 4 teams at the bottom that are just not quite playoff teams.
Yeah,
I just feel like there's
fringe.
a gap in between.
They're fringe, essentially.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Next up that I have is Montreal. I mean, the rebuild's trending in the right direction, which is what you've hoped for years. They have Suzuki, Caulfield, Matheson. I have it in my notes. They had Monahan and Newhook, but both those guys got traded. They had. I will say I think goaltending could be a positive now because Sam Montembeault has, even for being a 27-year-old cast-off from Florida, he's done some solid work. I think like with it, like he's 27. Like a lot of guys that age with little experience are can do a lot worse than him. So that's my stance on them. But I still think like I mentioned last time, like this is like a 5 to 6 year plan, so you can't really count on them to do anything this time around.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Ottawa. God, man, dude, I know you've been a big defender of them. Then like it's hard to because like it wasn't even a talent issue. Like they have Stützle, they have Giroux, Batherson, Norris, Brady Tkachuk. They're all quality pieces, but it's just like Tarasenko's been a flop. Sanderson isn't ready yet, and Matthew Joseph hasn't been good. Korpisalo has been okay in net, but he's not really been the same guy. I mean, the good news is like the new regime got rid of Pierre Dorian and DJ Smith, so that's the only positive I can say is it's a new regime in town.
Well, they probably got rid of them sooner than anticipated.
Yeah. I mean, like, well, here's the thing. Like, my issue is with the Senators. I felt like they should have been gone a little bit sooner, just because like they hadn't produced any results yet to validate them staying for the future of the team. So that was just my thought. So yeah. So that's the Atlantic. The Metro. The Rangers so far have been the dominating force. Like they've always had the talent. Panarin, Kreider, Zibanejad, Jad. Heck, even Lafreniere is beginning to take the next steps. But like it seems like the Laviolette system's been okay. Okay, like for some reason it made Jonathan Quick go back to his old form to help out. I forget. It's Igor Shesterkin. It's Ilya Sorokin. Is it Shesterkin or Sorokin? Sorokin. I apologize. The Isles and Rangers both have Russian goaltenders, so he's been able to help. So yeah, Jonathan Quick's found his old form, and pretty much that's all I can really say about the Rangers. Like they're probably going to be gunning for that.
I mean, these top 2 teams, I'm not surprised, are at the top here.
Yeah. New York and then Carolina. Honestly, Carolina. It was expected because they have the talent with Aho and those guys. I feel like this is sort of a make or break year for them as well, just because the past few seasons, like the furthest this team's gotten so far is is the conference finals, and they haven't even won a game in that yet. So that's the big thing they need to. They need to, at minimum, they need to at least get one game win there. Just because, like, it's just at the point, like, what else do you do? Because, like, you have nearly every piece of this team completed, from offense, defense, and goaltending. So that's the big thing for them. And if not, many people are going to start questioning Don Waddell and Rod Brindamore for the organization. So, yeah. So now this team I didn't expect to be here, Philly, which I knew it's a rebuild year, but I feel like this is more of it's the stereotypical MO of John Tortorella. First 2 years iffy, next year he takes you to the postseason, which honestly, like, it isn't bad, but the big thing is, like, and I feel like there are two main stories with Philly this year. The first was the Carter Couturier saga, which is he got traded for Jamie Drysdale, which, like, here's the thing. I don't know a ton about it. Like, you might know a little more, but, like, I don't really know what to make of that. I mean, like, cool, I feel like it's just at the point of, like, where, okay, Jamie Drysdale, not a bad player. I feel like he's going to be good for them, but it's just a bad look when you don't want to have a prospect want to play for you,
Well, there might be more, like, that we don't know about that factor into it. But.
Yeah, and then the next one, so it involves Carter Hart. So recently, one of the more recent stories is about the 2018 World Juniors, in particular Team Canada. And due to sensitive nature, I can't go into massive details because we barely even know like the full story here. But so far, 5 players have been arrested by London police, and now several members involved with the team are on indefinite leave. Among them are essentially, of the guys who are missing, are Alex Foreman, an ex-Senator player who's in the Swiss leagues, Dylan Dew of the Flames, Carter Hart of the Flyers, which is the big name, along with Michael McClelland and Cal Foote of the Devils. Like, I think my question is how deep does something like this run? Because remember, Cale Makar, Jake Bean, Drake Batherson, those guys were all on that team, and if there's more damning evidence, this ain't gonna be a good look for hockey.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens because it's not good.
Yeah. So that's the main story with Philly, because they're without their prize goaltender, so that's gonna be something to hurt. So now the Islanders. Here's the thing. They got pieces, like they got Brock Nelson, Bo Horvat, Matt Barzal, Anders Lee. They even have some great rookies, Simon Holmstrom as well. But, like, the big issue for them so far was their defense, which kind of left Sorokin out to die. So your result is replacing Lambert with the old reliable. Patrick Waugh is back in the NHL out of the recycle bin. So,
yeah.
Like, so far he's done an okay job. Like, I don't think he's been horrible, but I feel like it's how long can you ride this? Because there's been a reason why he hasn't got... What was his last coaching job? Was it...
Colorado?
Yeah, there's a reason he hasn't been coaching since Colorado, so that's my big thing. So, yeah. Now, here's the thing. Pittsburgh. I know that right now they're doing better, but here's my issue. That they were pretty bad to start out the year. Just because, like, it's not an issue with, like, their core of, like, Crosby, Malkin, Rust, and Gensel. It's just more of what's around them. Like, they don't have a strong defense, not good power play presence, no depth, and Tristan Jarry isn't really helping. They threw everything at Erik Karlsson, and so far he's got, single-digit goals? Like, sadly, it's like... This team's becoming the 2015 Red Wings before our very eyes. A team that doesn't want to wants to live in the past and doesn't want to really admit reality that it's not the same era anymore. So
yeah, but this is about where I expected Pittsburgh to be this year.
Yeah, like, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, sadly, but, that's just me. So, the Devils. The main issue with them this year has just been consistency that I noted. notice. It's like win 3, lose 3, win 3, lose 3. And it also doesn't help that they have a pretty stacked division in front of them, but I don't really know. The only good positive is they've had guys like Hughes, who's always been the great, been a gemstone for them. Guys like Broad and Merker. Dougie Hamilton has dealt with injuries, but maybe he can get back. And even Vitek Vanacek's still been solid. I just don't really know with this team anymore. How do you get out of this? Is it a coaching issue? Because it wouldn't shock me if it is.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure.
Yeah, Washington. It's kind of what it is at this point. Like, what more do you really need to say about them? Like, sadly, I think it's at the point where they're running out of gas, and I don't think Ovi's gonna get the. He was able to get to the 1,500 point club. I don't think he's getting the goal record. I really don't at his age. He's been bad this year. I don't really know how else to describe it.
They'll still try. They will feed him.
Yeah.
They will try their best to make it.
Yeah. I think the playoffs are off the table at this point. But that's just me. So now the bottom of the barrel team is the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now here's the thing. My theory is that this team went into panic after the Babcock drama because the whole team has been off for some reason. It's not even that they're bad. Boone Jenner's a beast, and they've had Kirill Marchenko has boomed immensely for the team. Adam Fantilli's getting acclimated, but Ken Johnson's suffering another sophomore slump. Elvis has rumored to be wanting out at the deadline. What is this an administrative and coaching issue again?
I think it is.
Yeah, I feel like Yarmo's done a great job building this team, but so far it's ever since 2020 they've gone backwards and backwards and backwards. So I think maybe it might just be time to ask yourself about the administration. So
yeah.
So now we're finally over to the West. So the Central. Okay, I know we don't want to talk about them, but Colorado is inevitable because once again the Avs are dominating this league. They have Rantanen, they have Makar, Johansson, Nichushkin, and the great one Nate the Great McKinnon. They've even had a great goaltending this year. As Francouz has been out. They've had Georgiev and Ivan Prostovov. I hope I'm saying that name right. Who have been great between the pipes. I think the big issue is where they stack up come playoff time if they're still fully healthy. But other than that, what else do you need to really say about them? They're one of the best for the reason.
Yeah. Definitely. I don't like these first 3 teams.
Yeah, I know. No. So yeah, next one is Dallas. Probably who is usurped. Originally was Colorado my most hated team. These guys are probably the number one now. Now once again the Lone Star State is dominating, and you can just tell by my excitement over this. They have hit. Jason Robertson's been a beast. Pavelski, the veteran stalwart. Hintz, Duchesne, Marchand. Heck, even Sagan's found a small sample of his old power. They have a strong defense, even if they still are giving Ryan Suter valuable minutes. Cancer. And the best news is Jake Onger is probably going to get Vezina votes this year for his play. So that's about it. Other than that, I'm not hoping for anything, but if maybe they fell apart and collapsed, that'd be really great.
Yeah.
Next up is Winnipeg. I thought they were really gonna. I didn't think they were gonna be good this year. Just because it felt like they were in a, after getting smoked last year, they needed a full reset. But apparently, it's worked. As Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele are back at it. Cole Perfetti is taking his first big steps to elite status, along with a lot of other young talent. They've got depth in Nino Niederreiter, Adam Lowry, and more. Connor Hellebuck is once again in the Vezina race. They even just had Sean Monahan a few days ago. Like, the Jets are not going away, and it aggravates me. So
it does.
Yeah. So Nashville. You thought Barry Trotz as a head coach was going to get you results. His GM skills are a thing of beauty. The Predators have actually boomed under their new executives in the best ways imaginable. Forsberg's been good. O'Reilly's been worth the price of admission. They have an actual team to help you say Saros out. They've had a great number of win streaks, do I think they get over the hump this year? Probably not, but I think it's impressive to say that Nashville is looking on the ups.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Now the Coyotes. Surprisingly enough, at the start of the year, I had them as a decent team, but they've actually had some great pieces this year. Clayton Keller is once again their headliner, but he actually has some better help. Matthias Marcelli, Nick Schmaltz, and Logan Cruz. And also don't forget Logan Cooley, who has proven to be one of the best rising stars in this league. Even goaltending's been sturdy with Connor Ingram. I think they need a little bit more time, but I think, after all the years that the few Coyote fans have gone through, it's a great sign to see for them,
Yeah.
Because I feel have you heard anything about their newest stadium? Are they getting that, or?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either, but if they can, winning cures a lot of problems for a city, so there's that. So yeah, the St. Louis Blues, personally, I think they're in panic mode. While true they have their talents, it's another season where they clearly are not the same from their dominant Cup team of years past. Well, they got guys like Thomas, Kyrou, Buchnevich, Perunovic, and other young sensations. It's mainly, besides Nick Leddy on their defense and Jordan Binnington once again being a hothead, they can't control themselves. Craig Berube was already replaced as their head coach. I think realistically, you gotta wonder how much, what do you got to do from here, essentially, because 2019 feels like a decade ago.
It does.
Yeah, and we're here, bro, and your side is why. So Minnesota, personally, this is the first season of the Parise and Suter buyouts where everything's gone haywire. It's not that I don't think they have talent. Kaprizov, Zuccarello, Eriksson Ek, Boldy, and others have lived up to their contracts. It's even with the added bonus that Marco Rossi has proved why he was a number one pick, and Brock Faber's in the conversation for being a Calder candidate at this point. However, I feel like it's been a three-part equation. The first is in goaltending. Fleury, he's been great. He surpassed Patrick Waugh's record. It's been Gustafsson who's been off this year. The second is just the penalty kill, which hasn't been good, and penalties. That's been a problem. Dean Evison got replaced with John Hines, which, he's been hit 50-50, but, I feel like it's just with a lot of injuries they've dealt with, a lot of the streaks they get on, I feel like this is going to be a year where they miss out, sadly.
Well, it's an equation of a lot of stuff going wrong. Everything that can go wrong is going wrong.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the only positive I have taken away from this year is we have one more year we have another year of these big contracts, and then I guarantee you, here's the thing. I don't think, people are saying we should fire Bill Guerin. I don't think that.
No,
not yet. I need to judge him after the buyouts to thoroughly understand, okay, where do we go from here? Just because, he's loaded the farm system, and he's done a great job with that. It's just, he's got a little cap space to work with, so yeah. And now, the bottom of the barrel team is the Chicago Blackhawks. This is about where we expected them, here's the thing. Yeah. Connor Bedard, he's actually, for being praised endlessly by the media, he's proven that he is what he is as advertised. So what's been the issue this year? year. Why are they at the bottom? Well, Taylor Hall was brought in for extra depth and suffered a season-ending injury. You know, there was also another issue with the Kyle Beach saga, and to make it worse, Connor Bedard broke his jaw before the All-Star break. You can tell that people are not very happy about that. So, yeah, sorry Chicago, but let's this be a lesson to you. Don't count your chickens before you hatch. A lot more to do in the All-Star. A lot more to do before you're getting back to the top. So, yeah. So now, all right, the Pacific. The number one team, I want to know what Dabble Magic base this team is sown. Language, it's the Vancouver Canucks. A team that needed deep surgery somehow suddenly healed from it as if they have mutant healing. Brock Besser, like, here's the thing. I feel like Brock Besser has had a monster season this year. Like, he's shown why he was drafted. You know, Miller, Hughes, and Pedersen magically found their sparks. You know, Dakota Joshua and Niles Hoglander are great stories. You know, Thatcher Demko is once again back, for God's sakes. They even just did the trade for Chris Lindstrom. It's like, how? How did they do it?
Yeah, I don't even know.
I don't know. So now, the team next to them, no shock, it's Vegas. You know, winning the Cup's never easy, but it's clear Vegas doesn't have a hangover. You know, once again, I feel like the Pacific is going to run through Sin City because, you know, you have Eichel, Stone, Marcia Salt, and Petrangelo. You know, you have Carlson. You know, Aiden Hill's been better. You know, it's clear that Vegas has one thing on their mind, and that's going back to back, which I don't know if they can do it, but, you know, it definitely is interesting to see from them.
Yeah.
So now, the next team I think you have more expertise on than I do the Oilers. I know that, here's my thing. I know recently they turned it around. The first half for them was a problem for me, because it was once again a season of where Leon Connor Nugent of that core actually wasn't working. You know, while they did make a coaching change, which I felt was needed, and have gone back to it, I don't know, because, like, here's my thing. I feel like this is a pivotal year, because Leon has 1 year left before he hits free agency. Connor has two, and I feel like both of those guys are guys you want to see win. And I don't know, with how the direction is, unless massive changes come to Edmonton, I don't know if they want to stick around. So that's my thing. It's tick Edmonton. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
You're not gonna say any more? I'm shocked. You know.
No, they're doing good.
Yeah. Here's the thing. If they lose again in the first round, expect a lot of laughter from me. All right. So yeah. The LA Kings. I don't know. They've been off to a weird start this year. Like, at first they got really hot, but then they tapered off a lot. And like recently, they just made a coaching change, which that's been a big theme for a lot of teams this year. You know, I don't know. No, like, do the Kings even make it? Because, you know, Seattle's creeping up on them in the distance, and I feel like they're going to be the team that I don't think they can get into. I feel like at best they get the fourth spot, and I don't know if with how things have trended for them, if they can get in.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to be.
No. Yeah, I feel like, and it's a pivotal year because they have a lot of guys locked up, and, you know, I don't know. So, speaking of Seattle, you know, they've had a bit of a sluggish year, but, you know, I feel like they definitely are a team that is going to be contending for the postseason. You know, with guys like McCann, Vince Dunn, and the other core pieces. Matty Beniers has had a bit of a sophomore slump, but Ellie Tolvanen has had his breakout year, which has worked, which, you know, hey, you know, maybe that was just what he needed from leaving Nashville, so definitely. Even better, like, you know, Philip Grubauer, he hasn't been his usual self. It's been Joey Daccord who's been really on fire, in my opinion. So I feel like it's going to be interesting to see if they can heat up come playoff time. So
Yeah.
yeah, because they're definitely a team that I think it. All right, the Calgary Flames. Like, what else do you need to say? They're building at this point. Like, it's just what else is there really to say for them? Like, they've had some young pieces like Zari, Popsily, Lee, and more, but other than that, it's like Blake Coleman's regressing. Like a lot of other guys, and I feel like they're going to be a team that's going to be selling some pieces off at the deadline.
Yeah.
So yeah. And now the next team, Anaheim. I still don't know how a team with 3 players picked in the top 10 can be so bad. Literally everything is a mess for the team right now besides Frank Bertrano, Mason McTavish, and Leo Carlson. Zegras has been dealing with injuries. Drysdale was shipped out of Philly for being obsolete. You want me to talk about John Gibson? Dude's so cooked he could be mistaken for the puck on the ice sometimes. At this point, I'm starting to turn my focus towards the ownership of the Ducks because, like, it's clear you've made coaching changes and you've made administrative changes, but it's clear, like, nothing's working, and now it's at the point where you have a lot of talent that wants to win, and they need the proper tools to help do so.
Yeah. There's nowhere close to competing.
Yeah, and it sucks because, they got some great players, but, yeah. Sharks, I feel like this team was... You're laughing because this team just sucks. Like, here's the thing. I don't know. I have a stat for you. Besides Thomas Hertl and Fabian Zetterlund being the best players on the team, to summarize, they were outscored 37-12 in the month of November. They hit 20-3 in the first week of the month. They were just... Oh God, I knew this team was going to be bad, but God, they are setting records for ineptitude on the ice.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
We don't mean to laugh, but it's just, oh God. I feel like what's better is that there's going to be someone with a sign in that arena saying, "We want Celebrini. We want Celebrini." So, yeah. All right, now, to wrap out, I figured we can go. I know you probably don't have your sort of list predictions yet, but I kind of do. So for the Atlantic, I'd say my top 4. 1 is Boston, 2 is the Panthers, 3 is the Lightning, 4. It's a hot take, but I think the Red Wings slip in the last minute over the Leafs.
No, I think it's still gonna be the Leafs.
Yeah, I just feel like both are playing for do or die, so it could be either. So, Metro, I have the Rangers at 1. I don't think anyone's catching them. Hurricanes, I think, get in. Flyers as well. And I think the Devils turn it back on after the All-Star break and jump back in. Because I feel like with all the talent they have, like, they shouldn't be missing out. Especially because, like, I'm skeptical of if the Islanders have the pieces to match up with them.
Yeah.
That's my takeaway. Central... Colorado, as much as I hate to do it, Colorado, Dallas, the Jets, Predators. Like, I feel like Minnesota...
Those top 3 are probably locked.
Yeah. 4th, like, here's the thing. I think personally, it's probably going to be the Predators just because I don't think St. Louis... I feel like St. Louis has too much turmoil to kind of get back into it. The Coyotes are still young. Minnesota needs a Hail Mary throw to get back in, and the Blackhawks are just sitting in the corner thinking about how they're gonna get revenge. So that's my thing with the Central. Pacific, I think the Knights get back in at the top seed. Oilers at 2, the Canucks at 3, and I think the Kraken get in at 4.
Canucks, Knights, Oilers, and then probably Kraken.
Yeah, because I don't think the Kings can slip in. So yeah. Anyway, that is it for this episode. Joe, thank you once again for joining me. Hopefully you'll be able to come back in the spring for the playoffs. So
yeah, no problem.
Yep. See you guys next time. Peace.